Okay guys, so let's talk about JavaScript data types in this tutorial. So there are different data types in JavaScript. Like there's the string data type, Boolean data type, array data type, undefined, BigInt. Like other programming languages too, they have their own data types, and this differs according to different programming languages. Like there are some programming languages that doesn't have undefined data type. So, but most programming languages have as Boolean, they have string, they have and they have numbers. They have numbers, but the number is called another thing in different programming languages. It's called different names in different programming languages. So let's look at these keywords. So I'm just going to come down here and create the script tag. Okay, so the string uh, the string data type is declared by writing it inside the double quotes. Anything that is inside the double quotes is a string. I am a string. So this is a string. This is a string. So the Boolean data type is used to check whether a value is true or false. What is true or false. Is always used to check if a value is true or false. And JavaScript array, they are defined like const name array. That's going to be all ab ay and David, Rebecca. Okay, so this is how JavaScript arrays are defined. So you list the values inside the square brackets like this. So this is how to declare an array. So, and if you want to get the value in an array, as I have said before, arrays are zero index. They are zero index. That is, it starts from 0. This value here is at 0 index. 0, if you want to count it, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want to get any value at any index, let's say I want to get the third one, which is, okay, this is the third one. So it's going to be in the index of 2. Let's save it, go to the browser, then Ctrl+Shift+K and reload it. I can see IO. Okay, so that is JavaScript array data types. Okay, so there is undefined data type also. Like if I should say something like this, var age, and I didn't assign it to any value, and if I should log it now, it's going to return undefined because it is not defined. So that's undefined. And you can always check for values. You can always check for the data type of value. Like, okay, I'm still going to come to that. And okay, next one is BigInt, var large integer. So big ints are always, and they are seldom used. They are not always use them. They are not always being used, but it is always used to handle large numbers. And to define big ints in JavaScript, just to define big int, just add n at the back of any number. Let's just say random number, add n at the back. So then large int, save, and let's just preview it in the browser. So that's 894n. So if I should over the browse and the mouse over it, see the last word, it says big int. That's the data type. So that's how to define a big int. JavaScript big int. Okay, so functions. Let me just define this with let's. So functions in JavaScript are used to organize codes. Like instead of repeating a statement, instead of repeating a set of statements in the code, you just put them in a function. And function are always you can define function in various ways. The first one and the old one is by defining it like this: function name, function, let's just say function greet. Then it takes in an argument or arguments, then you open a block of code like this inside the curly brace. Then you write any statement inside the curly brace. Let's say console.log hello from the function. Okay, so and if we should, let's just comment this out. If we should save this and run it, you see, we are not seeing anything. Why? Functions, you need to invoke functions before they will run. So let's invoke it, great. So if we should call it like this, so we are calling the old function. So to call the real function, to make it execute, so we have to add the two opening and close bracket, and open and close bracket at the end of the name. So let's save it and let's reload it. I can see hello from the function. So that's function. Another way to define a function is by using consts. This came in year 6, consts second greet, then equal to, then you say function. They are anonymous function also. This is an example of anonymous function. So function this. So then you say, let me just copy this because I'm lazy, very lazy. Copy, paste, hello from the second function. Let's save it and let's call the second greet function. You will also call it the same way you call the default one. So let's save it. I'm still going to talk more about function, hello from the second function. I'm still going to talk more about functions later in this tutorial. And the third way to define the function is by using consts. Third greet function, and by using the ES6 ECMAScript 6 arrow functions. It came with ES6. So this is the arrow function. Then you cannot say, okay, I'm just going to copy it. Okay, let me just copy everything. Copy, then paste from the third function. And Let me just copy all these ones and put them here. Okay, and how do we call that? The same way we call the rest. Let me just put the square bracket in the front and reload hello from the third function. Okay, that is that. So the next thing we should go to is number. Numbers in JavaScript are used to handle number. Let's use let's var num bar. Let's just say number 1. I used to handle number, and there are numbers that are safe, that are between the safe number. The numbers between safe numbers are minus 2 raised to the power 53 minus 1. This is the least number, and this is the highest number, 2 raised to the power 53 minus 1. So this is the highest number. You can read more about it when you go to this URL that is in the description of this tutorial. All right. So this is a number. This is a number, and it is also called an integer. An integer or number. So if we should, let's check the highest possible number. Let's say number dot max safe integer. That's the maximum safe integer. So this is the maximum safe integer. Any number outside this is going to return unsafe integer. So it's going to be an unsafe integer. Let's try to add 1 to this. Let's first of all log this and check what happens. Okay, now let's add 1 to it. That's 2. Okay, it still output it. And let's check the minimum number dot main safe integer. So this is the minimum safe integer that we can do. So this is the minimum safe integer, and let's check for the minimum integer. This is 5 e raised to the power minus 324. So that's the least number, and the max number is max value safe. This is the max number. Okay, with that, let's go to the next one. As you've seen lot of examples of number in the previous tutorials. Okay, now let's check for symbol. JavaScript symbol is equal to symbol. I don't know much about symbol, but it is what I know is always used in JavaScript to runtime. Is you won't be using symbol much in your project. The only thing you'll be using is the string, like values within double quotes or within single quotes. You can also write this inside the single quotes. Let me just copy this. Can also be written like this. Can also be written like that inside the single quotes. So let's say a follows, and let's try to log it. Let's try to check that in the browser. A symbol a follows, and let's try to, you can convert it to string by calling the JavaScript to string. You are still going to get there. Sim a follows. Okay, so that's that. You won't be using the symbol much in your project, and type null. If a number, let's check a number that is null, a value that is null value. That's going to be, let's say, this. This is not null, but it is empty. Null value. This is an empty string, but a null value, this is null. This is null. This is the JavaScript type null, and you will be dealing much with type null in your project. And okay, now the last one I want to talk about here is none, not a number. Now let's try to get a not a number equal to all divided by 6, and let's try it. So the none means not a number, so it's going to return none because I'm trying to divide a string by an integer, which is not possible. But let's try to divide a number inside a string by, I can see it's going to divide it because it's going to automatically convert this string. It will convert it to an integer and divide it, because we are dividing an integer inside a string. An integer that is a string, a number that is a string. Let me say it like that. A number that is a string, we are dividing it by an integer. So that is that. We can now move to next tutorial.